I know we all remember ISIS, and if you don't, then I really can't blame you because those motherfuckers fell off hard. They were on top of the world for such a long time. They just spread terror everywhere and they intimidated many people with their videos of beheading others while making countless threats. I used to always think that ISIS would take over the world, but they never did. ISIS had formed in 1999, however, they were a bunch of nobodies back then, and only started to rise in power in 2011 due to the Syrian civil war and became well known in 2014 when they were at their peak. One of their most infamous attacks were the November 2015 Paris attacks. They were all coordinated attacks that ISIS had planned and executed. Three suicide bombers had detonated bombs outside of the Stade de France arena, while a football match between France and Germany was being played inside the stadium. A second group of attackers had been shooting civilians that were eating in restaurants and cafes. A third group went inside a death metal concert where 1,500 people were in attendance that night. Obviously, this was not the only attack that ISIS had committed. They were responsible for the 2017 Barcelona attacks, where 13 people died and 130 others were injured from a van being rammed into civilians, and they also claimed responsibility for the 2017 Manchester Arena bombing, where 22 people had died, with some being children in an Ariana Grande concert. Needless to say, this scared and shocked the world. So much media coverage on ISIS, and it built up fear and panic. However, as time went on, the media just suddenly stopped talking about ISIS. So, this begs the question, what happened to ISIS? Well, to start, ISIS lost a very big chunk of land that they controlled in regional parts and globally as well. At their pinnacle, they controlled a significant amount of land in Syria and Iraq, which had a huge population of people, more specifically 8 million people. Their biggest fuck up was definitely pissing off the superpowers of the world. After the Paris attacks, the United States, France, Russia had started to send airstrikes that completely wreaked havoc on ISIS. Slowly but surely, ISIS was getting ganged up on by almost every corner of the world.
I will scramble your ass, monopolize you, connect for your motherfucking eye, and never feel sorry.
With so much happening, Iran took advantage and started to fight back and reclaim what was once taken from them. Since 2015, ISIS has lost 87% of their territory. This was a massive loss to them because not only was it the beginning of the end, but many major cities had been a major factor to ISIS due to their oil revenue, but that quickly dropped by 90%. Oil revenue, kidnapping ransoms, human trafficking, and etc. earned them a yearly $1 billion. With many members seeing that the end was upon them and that soon they would either be dead or answer for their crimes, they started to flee from the group and ran into hiding in Turkey and many other countries. Though the media is responsible for the fear-mongering, they are also responsible for ISIS's downfall as well. You see, at some point, the media just stopped caring about ISIS and simply wrote them out of the news. This probably broke the hearts of the terrorist group because now they're just considered old news. They've become a desperate group that tries to recruit new members in such stupid ways. I remember that there would be news headlines saying that they would recruit people through video games and Twitter. I mean, who the fuck are you really even getting from that? And how does that process even go? Do they just recruit them based on their KD on Call of Duty? This obviously still makes them a huge security problem because they are talking to kids through voice chat in video games. Not just kids, but grown adults as well. This kind of reminds me of when it was discovered that Osama bin Laden was a huge fan of Counter-Strike and many other games such as Dragon Ball Z and Mario Bros. I kind of just imagine him sitting on a rock inside of a cave raging at his teammates in CSGO. What countries try to do now is make sure that people aren't believers of the ideologies that ISIS tries to push out so they don't fall victim to the manipulation. Some weren't even actual members of ISIS, but they were heavily influenced by what ISIS was preaching. Today, ISIS mainly controls parts of Pakistan by the border. They aren't fully extinguished yet, but they still hold some land, even after the US had helped anti-ISIS forces retake parts of the country. Many ISIS members don't live in Syria. They scattered to parts of Russia, Nigeria, and other sections in Africa. In 2018, Donald Trump had declared victory over the terrorist group. However, in 2021, ISIS had killed 13 US troops and injured 18 others in Kabul airport. In February of 2022, the US led an attack against one of the many leaders of ISIS, Haji Abdullah. They successfully managed to defeat him in Syria after he, blew himself up. What's even crazier is, as we were recording this video just yesterday, the US captured a senior leader of ISIS in Syria. His name is Hani Ahmed al-Kurdi, and he was a very experienced bomb maker. ISIS are still at large. not globally, but regionally. They continue to commit terrorist attacks in Iraq and Syria. They try to branch off to other countries such as Nigeria and the Philippines. US soldiers are slowly being pulled out of the Middle East after years of constant fighting over there.
Fuck y'all ISIS niggas.